Yeah, it can take a long time, if you don't address the other, these other so-called satellites. And
Sure.
in my my old process of training, where I just focused on really the muscles and the tissues,
Sure.
that's there was a lot of hurdles that took a long time to overcome because we just simply didn't know that stuff. That stuff was so new. But now that we know that there's other ways to get information to the brain with vision training and vestibular training, now that we know we can have that happen faster, we know that we can get results quicker.
Yeah. Have you seen some pretty amazing changes since you started using those other techniques in terms of the mobility?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in terms of just pain reduction, I mean, your brain prioritizes movement over pain. So just simply moving through the right range of motion and mobilizing joints is going to reduce pain immediately. And not just that, but even just general mobility is gained, and range of motion is gained immediately when the threat level for the brain and the nervous system is low. So if I can tell the brain that, hey, here's the information that you were missing because your peripheral vision hadn't been trained, or hey, because you hadn't trained these extraocular muscles in the eyes, then the brain is going to allow you to move in a greater range of motion and not worry about protecting you as much.
Yeah. That might be over some people's heads, thinking about the eyes and the inner ear creating tightness in the rest of your body due to a stress response. But I try to always tell my people, it's just all about stimulus and response. There's some sort of stimulus going into your body, and your body's having a response. And usually the response is to try and help you, even though it may be hindering you. So that's an interesting thing you got to think about big time. Let's talk a little bit about nutrition. How do you approach nutrition with your clients to help them look, feel, and perform their best?
Well, the first thing is, I don't like to write meal plans. A lot of people are like, oh, just write me what I need to eat. And I don't like
Yeah.
that because that's 99.9% of the time, it's going to be an overhaul. If I just arbitrarily write something out that's kind of generic, even if it is somewhat individualized, it's still going to be very, very difficult for them to change those habits because, they have to have the strategies to support that. And that won't happen overnight. So instead, what I have them do is I have them really log for about a week what they've been eating, and kind of go through what they have in their home and where they shop. And really the process is really just taking what they're eating and slowly improving upon it. So instead of focusing on, hey, what can I take away from their diet? What can I initially add? What can I add that's going to have the least psychological resistance, but have the best results? And, usually things like adding, more omega-3s or more fish oil to their diet initially, and adding more greens and veggies to their diet initially, and adding more water. Those things immediately are going to make them look and feel better. So they'll stay motivated and continue to progress with new habits.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than taking something away from somebody's diet first thing. And I had to learn that the hard way from being like, okay, first thing you got to do is eat less than 50 grams of carbs a day. And
Exactly.
everybody just goes, okay, I'll try it. And they get some results, and then they hate their lives because they can't eat any bread and pasta and sugar and stuff like that. And I couldn't agree more that it's really more about adding those good things in before you start taking some of those bad things. Because the reality is, if you add good stuff in, some of the bad stuff is going to just disappear naturally. You drink
Exactly.
more water, maybe that extra sweet coffee or soda is going to get disappeared. You know what I mean? If you eat more
Exactly.
vegetables, you probably eat less junk food, So
Exactly.
that's super simple and super powerful. Well, Kusha, we met through a mutual friend of ours, and he introduced us because you had some sort of technologies that you've been working on. Can you tell us a little bit about how your systems work and how people can use it to help them look, feel, and perform their best?
Absolutely. We try to make it simple by really just allowing people to just choose where they're at with their fitness level, whether they're beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And, depending on what goal they are, whether it's, lean and tone, muscle and strength, or even athletic cross training, we make it really easy to get started and just get started on a path. Because we want people to think about exercise and working out as kind of a long-term workout path, not just like kind of a one-time cookie cutter program they got offline. So we start them off on that path based on that information, and then we try to individualize it based on really what they're looking for in days per week. So we allow them to choose, do you want 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 to 6 days a week, and then they just get. And then from there, the workout program becomes more customized and adapts to them as they go, almost like kind of Pandora radio. As you listen to it and make selections, it becomes kind of adapted to your preferences. It's kind of the same technology, same idea, same concept, except we adapt it not only based on preferences and things you like, but also things you need. If you use corrective exercises to treat some acute pain, it's going to adjust your program. If you say your stress levels were high and your sleep quality was poor, it's going to adjust your program. If you say the workout program was too easy that day, it's going to adjust the program.
Interesting. And does it track all of your metrics? Because one of the things I see where people are either successful or not successful is people who track their workouts. Just simply just write down what they're doing and compare it to the month before. It's so much more successful than people who don't track their workouts. Does it keep all that data and chart it for you and so on and so forth?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's a history of everything.
That's pretty cool, man. That's very, very cool. I've messed around with it a little bit and checked it out. I'm like probably the least tech savvy person you'll ever meet in your life. I'm still the guy with the 3x5 cards at the gym, writing stuff down. Then I take it home and I put it in my training log and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, I think that's really cool, man. I think that sounds like a really cool system. It sounds like you've taken your philosophy and your system and put it down into a digital medium that people can check out. I'll post a link below the show. You guys can all check out that. It's an app, right? You guys use that for like iPhones and Androids and stuff like that?
Yeah, correct. iOS.
Awesome, man. Very, very cool. Well, I usually have one question that I like to ask people at the very end of the call. And you're obviously a successful guy. You said you've been training all over the country. You're the manager at a humongous club down in San Diego. You're starting your own online tech business that's related to fitness, and you're kind of at the front end of this technology boom as well. So what is your secret to success, my man?
I think just having really a thirst for knowledge. I think you just have to just continually educate yourself, because I think, after school, after you get out of high school or college, you don't really have anything to really hold you accountable to that. And a lot of people I see just, even myself initially, you get complacent. You think that you're good enough with your knowledge, or that you know enough. And I think that just kind of builds arrogance, and arrogance builds complacency. And I think one of the most humbling things I did was really find mentorship. I got to a point where I knew I wanted to learn more, and so the internet, just like we know with everything, the internet can be a place of obscurity, and you can get lost. So sometimes you need the right people who have done it to kind of point you in the right direction. And so I sought out mentorship, and having enough humility to seek out the right mentorship, and kind of building that so-called business brain trust is so fundamental to being successful no matter what you do.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. I didn't go to college, so I didn't have that issue of being burnt out as I got out of school. But as I was traveling around as a musician after high school, and then I decided, like, I'm going to learn stuff, and I did exactly what you're talking about. Find the people you want to learn from, pay them whatever they want, learn from them, and just repeat the process to different people that you really, really, really admire and want to learn the information from. So I think that's fantastic, man. Thirst for knowledge, that's great. Why don't you tell people where we can find you, where we can check out that application?
It's just in the iPhone App Store.
Okay.
You can look it up in there.
What's the name of it again?
It's called Exerscribe.
There we go. Got to know the name, guys. Exerscribe. Perfect. Cool. Awesome. Well, I'll post a link below the show. The guys can check it out and everything as well. Kusha, thank you so much for your time. Be on the Garage Warrior podcast, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir.